We lived our ordinary, happy days in a quiet residential neighborhood outside Boston. At least, that's what I believed. My name is Emily. I'm a graphic designer who works from home. In the mornings, I make coffee and start work at my desk in the living room. Through the window, I can see our small garden. It was autumn, and the foliage was beautiful. My husband Michael leaves the house at 7 every morning and usually comes home late at night. Lately, he's been working overtime more than usual, and sometimes he has to take calls even on weekends. I didn't know much about his work. Whenever I asked, he'd just laugh it off vaguely. We have an 8-year-old daughter named Lily. She's bright and friendly, with lots of friends at school. But recently, I felt like something had changed. She'd started waking up crying in the middle of the night more often. When I'd rush to her bedroom, I'd find Lily drenched in sweat and trembling. "Mommy, I had a scary dream." "What kind of dream?" Lily would just shake her head and refuse to talk about it. I'd hold my daughter close and gently rub her back. Kids have nightmares all the time. That's what I told myself. My younger sister Jessica is a stay-at-home mom. She's been married to David for 5 years now. I'd heard that David worked in a corporate marketing department. They have a 6-year-old daughter named Sophie who's best friends with Lily. Jessica's house is about a 30-minute drive from ours in an upscale neighborhood, much bigger and nicer than our place. "Emily, are you free next Saturday?" One afternoon, Jessica called. Her voice was always bright and cheerful. "Saturday?" "Yes, I'm available. I'm throwing a birthday party for Sophie. Please come with the whole family, Michael too, and Lily of course." "That sounds wonderful. Lily will be so excited. I'm planning to make it really special. I've hired caterers, and we're setting up a huge bounce house in the yard. The kids are going to love it." After hanging up, I checked the calendar. I didn't know Michael's schedule, but he should be free on a weekend. My relationship with my sister was good. In fact, Jessica meant the world to me. After our parents died young, we sisters had supported each other. Seeing her happy family made me happy too. But there was one thing that bothered me. Lately, Jessica had been reaching out more and more frequently. "Want me to take Lily for the weekend?" "Sophie would love it." "How about letting Lily sleep over at our place this holiday?" I appreciated my sister's kindness, but for some reason, I kept declining. I didn't even understand why myself. I just had this strong feeling that I didn't want to let Lily go. That evening, Michael came home. It was earlier than usual. As he took off his shoes in the entryway, he looked at me and smiled. But his smile seemed a bit tired. "Welcome home. You're early today." "Yeah, for once." Michael went into the living room and sat on the sofa. He took out his smartphone and stared at the screen. He'd been doing this a lot lately, constantly checking his phone during meals, while watching TV, all the time. "Is it something important?" "No, just checking work stuff." While preparing dinner, I told him about my sister's invitation. "Next Saturday, there's Sophie's birthday party. She wants the whole family to come." Michael was silent for a moment. Then he nodded slowly. "Okay. Let's go." "Really? What about work?" "It'll be fine. I'll definitely be there." There was something different in his words, something I couldn't quite place. But I didn't ask anything more. I was happy we'd have more time to spend together as a family. That night, after putting Lily to bed, I sat facing Michael in our bedroom. "Lily's been having nightmares a lot lately." "I see. Is there some problem at school?" Michael took a deep breath. "I don't know. But let's keep a close eye on her." His expression was serious. I squeezed my husband's hand. We were a good couple. At least, that's what I believed. Friday afternoon, I was at the shopping mall choosing a present for Sophie. Looking for something a 6-year-old girl would like, I finally settled on a large pink stuffed animal and a set of picture books. Lily was with me, watching excitedly as they wrapped the gift. "Will Sophie like it?" "I'm sure she will," I said, patting my daughter's head. "Tomorrow's going to be a fun party." Lily smiled, but the smile seemed somehow fragile. I noticed but didn't push it. Kids' moods go up and down, it's perfectly normal. When we got home, Michael was already in the kitchen. It was unusually early for him to be back. He was making coffee and staring out the window. "You're home early again today?" "Yeah." Michael turned to look at me. "Tomorrow I should be able to spend the whole day with the family." "Really?" "I promise." His words carried conviction. But at the same time, he seemed to be carrying some heavy burden. I kissed my husband's cheek and showed him the present I'd bought. "Isn't it cute?" "Yeah, Sophie will love it." That night, I laid out a pale pink dress for Lily. It was adorable, with white lace trim, Lily's favorite. My daughter twirled in front of the mirror over and over, delighting in how the skirt fanned out. "Mommy, do I look pretty?" "You look absolutely beautiful." Lily's face suddenly turned serious. "Mommy, will you stay with me the whole time tomorrow?" "Of course. I'm not going anywhere." "Promise?" "Promise." I hugged my daughter. Lily's small body seemed to tremble slightly in my arms. But I thought she must just be excited. Saturday morning was sunny and clear. Autumn sunlight streamed through the windows, bathing the whole house in warm light. We left the house at 10:30. Michael drove, I sat in the passenger seat, and Lily sat in back clutching her stuffed animal. "Aren't you excited, Lily?" I turned around. Lily nodded slightly, but her expression was stiff. "Are you okay? Do you feel sick?" "No, I'm fine." Michael was watching Lily through the rearview mirror. His eyes were kind, but there was also a certain sharpness, as if he were searching for something. "Daddy and Mommy will both be there, so you don't need to worry about anything." "Okay." The car drove down the highway and eventually entered the upscale neighborhood where Jessica lived. Large houses lined the streets, with beautifully maintained yards. Jessica's house was at the end of the street, specially decorated for today. Colorful balloons adorned the entrance, and a large bounce house had been set up in the yard. When we got out of the car, Jessica burst out from the entrance. She wore a white blouse and navy skirt, her makeup perfect. "Emily, you made it." My sister hugged me, then bent down toward Lily. "Lily, what a pretty dress. Let's have fun today." Lily just smiled slightly. Inside the house, several relatives had already gathered. The living room was lavishly decorated, and the dining table was laden with colorful dishes. My mother-in-law Carol came out of the kitchen carrying a large flower vase. "Oh, Emily. You're late." "I'm sorry. I thought we were on time." "Did you?" "Well, never mind. Jessica's been busy preparing since this morning. She really is a wonderful daughter." Carol always praised Jessica's household. David and Jessica were the perfect couple, Sophie was the perfect child, and this was the perfect home. I always listened with a smile, but deep down I felt a little lonely. Michael put his hand on my shoulder. "Don't let it bother you," he whispered. David appeared from the living room. He was tall and always smiling. In his early 40s, he always wore crisp shirts and chinos. "Hey, Michael. Long time no see." "Yeah." Michael's voice was cold. The two men shook hands, but Michael's expression was stiff. I noticed but said nothing. Men's relationships can be complicated. "Lily, come here," David reached out toward my daughter. "Sophie's waiting for you." I've got lots of new toys set up in the basement. Lily hid behind me. Lily, go on, I said gently. Go play with Sophie. Mommy, come with me. I'll be right there. Go with Uncle David for now. Lily reluctantly went with David. Michael watched them with sharp eyes. His jaw was tightly set, his fists lightly clenched. Michael, what's wrong? Nothing, he answered, but his eyes followed David. Jessica took my arm. Emily, can you help me in the kitchen? Yes, of course. In the kitchen, my mother-in-law and my sister's friends were preparing food. I did as I was told, cutting vegetables and arranging salads. The conversation was mainly about how wonderful Jessica's house was and how successful David's career was. David really is a wonderful husband, Carol said. He values his family and truly cares about the children. Yes, he does, I replied. After about 30 minutes, as I was about to return to the living room, Jessica stopped me. Emily, let's send the kids down to the playroom in the basement. The adults can relax and talk. But Lily. It's fine. David will watch them. He's so good with children. I hesitated but nodded at my sister's smile. Yet a small unease was sprouting in my chest. At that moment, my cell phone vibrated in my pocket. It was Michael calling. I answered. Hello? Where are you? Michael's voice was more urgent than I'd ever heard it, low, trembling, yet filled with strong determination. In the kitchen. What's wrong? Get our daughter and get outside right now. Why? Michael, what? Just do it now. Don't ask questions. Get Lily and get out of that house right now. The call ended. My hands were shaking. Everyone in the kitchen was staring at me. What's wrong? Jessica asked. Without answering, I rushed out of the kitchen. I ran through the living room and down the stairs to the basement. My heart was pounding violently. The basement was dim, with what looked like soundproofing material on the walls. I could hear the children's voices from a room in the back. Out of breath, I rushed into that room. Lily and Sophie were sitting on the floor playing with dolls. David stood a little distance away, watching them. When I came in, he turned around in surprise. Emily. What's wrong? Without answering, I rushed to Lily. When I picked up my daughter, she looked at me with a confused expression. Mommy? We're leaving, Lily. But I'm still playing. Right now. My voice was trembling. David took a step closer. Did something happen? Emily, calm down. Still holding Lily, I backed away. David's face looked concerned, but I couldn't trust anything. Michael's voice echoed in my head. Get out now. Now. When I ran up the stairs, the relatives in the living room stared at us in shock. Jessica rushed over. Emily, what's wrong? What happened? I'm sorry. We have to go. But the party's just starting. There's still cake. Carol stood up. Her face was red with anger. Emily, how rude. After all the preparation Jessica did. I'm very sorry. I headed for the entrance. Jessica grabbed my arm. Wait. At least tell me why. I looked into my sister's eyes. There was confusion and hurt there. But I didn't have time to explain. Michael's voice took priority over everything. I'm truly sorry. I'll call you later. I shook off my sister's hand and opened the front door. The outside air hit my face. Lily buried her face in my shoulder, crying softly. The distance to the car felt like an eternity. My car was parked across the street. As I ran, I heard my sister's voice behind me. Emily. Wait. But I didn't look back. I reached the car, opened the back door, and put Lily inside. Then I jumped into the driver's seat and started the engine. My hands were shaking so badly it took time to get the key in. At that moment, I heard sirens in the distance. At first it was a small sound. But it quickly grew louder, coming closer. Not just one vehicle. Multiple cars. I looked in the rearview mirror. From the end of the street, 3 police cars were speeding toward us. The police cars screeched to a halt in front of my sister's house. Red and blue lights rotated, cutting through the quiet afternoon in the residential neighborhood. Doors opened and uniformed officers jumped out. 6, no, 8 of them. And from the last car, Michael got out. I gasped. Michael was wearing a dark blue jacket with a badge on his hip. He spoke with the officers, then started walking toward the house. His movements were swift, trained. Was this a dream? I pinched my cheek. It hurt. This was real. Jessica and Carol were standing at the entrance. Both looked dazed, staring at the police officers. One officer said something to Jessica. My sister shook her head and shouted something. But I was too far away to hear. Michael and several officers went into the house. I sat in the car, gripping the steering wheel, unable to move. Lily was crying in the back seat. Mommy, I'm scared. It's okay. Daddy's here. But I was scared too. I had no idea what was happening. A few minutes later, Michael came out of the house with 2 officers. And between them was David. David's hands were in handcuffs. His face was pale, and he was shouting something. Jessica screamed. She tried to run to David, but a female officer stopped her. Carol sank down on the front steps, covering her face with both hands. Neighbors were coming out of their houses, watching from a distance. A mother holding a child, an old man walking his dog, a young man who'd been jogging. Everyone stopped and stared at this abnormal scene. David was pushed into a patrol car. For a moment, his eyes turned toward my car. There was anger in those eyes. No, more than that. Hatred. And fear. Michael walked toward my car. His expression was hard, tired-looking. But there was also relief there. He opened the driver's side door and looked at me. Are you okay? Michael, what is all this? I'll explain later. For now, let's get away from here. But Jessica. The police will handle her. You and Lily need to leave here right now. Michael looked into the back seat and spoke gently to Lily. Lily, it's Daddy. Everything's okay now. Lily nodded slightly through her tears. Michael put his hand on my cheek. You were brave. You did well. I don't understand any of this. I know. But trust me right now. You and Lily are safe. That's what matters most. In front of my sister's house, chaos still reigned. Jessica had collapsed to the ground, crying violently. Carol was talking to a female officer but occasionally glanced our way with an angry expression. Another patrol car, carrying David, drove away with its siren blaring. Michael patted my shoulder lightly. Let's go home. I'll explain everything there. What about Sophie? Is Sophie okay? Michael's expression clouded. Child welfare specialists are here. She'll be protected too. With trembling hands, I started the engine. Before pulling away, I looked at my sister's house one more time. Jessica stood up and was looking our way. Her eyes were filled with tears, her expression full of confusion and incomprehension. I felt the same way. What had happened? Why was Michael with the police? Why was David arrested? Everything was a mystery. But one thing was certain. Michael had protected us. Protected our daughter. And the reason must be far more serious than I could imagine. The car left the quiet residential neighborhood and reached the main road. In the rearview mirror, I could see my sister's house growing smaller. The colorful balloons were still swaying at the entrance. When we got home, Michael took Lily to the bedroom. Exhausted, she fell asleep immediately. I sat on the living room sofa and covered my face with both hands. My body was trembling. Michael came back and sat next to me. He took a deep breath and then began speaking quietly. "I'm a detective." I looked up. "A detective?" "I'm with the Boston Police Department's Special Investigation Unit. I specialize in crimes involving children." I was speechless. In 10 years of marriage, my husband had been doing this kind of work. "Why didn't you tell me?" "To protect the family. This work is dangerous. There can be retaliation from criminals. I didn't want to involve you or Lily." Michael stood up and looked out the window. His back looked heavy. 3 weeks ago, I noticed suspicious messages being sent from Lily's tablet. I secretly checked it after she went to sleep. My chest tightened. "What kind of messages?" "They were from David. At first it was things like, 'Let's play with Sophie,' or 'Next time we'll play even more fun games.' But gradually the content escalated." Michael turned and looked at me. His eyes held anger and sadness. I immediately reported it to my supervisor. An investigation into David began. And we discovered something terrible. He placed a file on the coffee table. 5 years ago, David was fired from his previous job. The reason was inappropriate contact with a coworker's daughter. But the victim's family didn't want to make a fuss, so it wasn't reported to the police. I covered my mouth with my hand. He married Jessica right after that. He was intentionally looking for a woman with young children. Sophie. We're still investigating what happened with Sophie. But today's party was a trap. Michael opened the file and pulled out several photos. They were pictures of the basement in my sister's house. 2 months ago, David renovated the basement. He said it was soundproofing work. But actually, he showed me another photo. Hidden camera locations were marked in red. At today's party, David planned to take Lily to the basement. To keep you two alone for a long time, he planned to isolate you in the kitchen and keep me talking with other relatives. My whole body went cold. If Michael hadn't noticed. If that phone call hadn't come. How did you know it would be today? Last night, I obtained David's phone records. He was connected online with people who shared his preferences. And he'd shared detailed plans about today's party. Michael's fists were trembling. I'd been waiting near the scene since this morning. But when I saw you all go into the house, I couldn't stand it anymore. What if something happened? What if I was too late? He squeezed my hand. His hand was cold. That's why I called. I trusted you. I didn't have time to explain, but I knew you'd understand. I hugged my husband. His body was rigid but warm. "Thank you," I whispered. "For protecting Lily." For a while, we held each other in silence. The next afternoon, Carol called. I answered the phone hesitantly. "Emily." My mother-in-law's voice was cold. "Do you understand what you've done?" You've destroyed Jessica's life. David is innocent. It's a police mistake. And yet you ran away and embarrassed everyone. David is guilty. There's evidence. Evidence? What evidence? Something Michael fabricated, right? He never liked David from the start. I gripped the receiver tightly. Please accept the facts. David was a dangerous person. Be quiet. Carol's voice became shrill. Because of you, Jessica's getting divorced. You've exposed this family's shame to the whole community. I don't want to talk to you anymore. The call ended. That evening, Jessica called. I hesitated but decided to answer. Emily. My sister's voice was small and trembling. Jessica. Did you know? About David? No. Michael told me for the first time yesterday. There was silence. Then Jessica said. I knew. What? Not everything. But I thought something was wrong. Sometimes Sophie would cry in the middle of the night. She'd say she didn't want to go into David's room. But Jessica's voice broke off. I could tell she was crying. I looked the other way. I wanted to be seen as the perfect family. Mom and everyone praised our family. So I didn't want to have doubts. Tears filled my eyes too. Jessica, it's not your fault. No, it is, my sister cried out. It's my fault. As a mother, I didn't protect my daughter. And I blamed you. Yesterday, along with Mom, I criticized you. It's okay now. Emily, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Over the phone, we cried together for a while. That night, when Michael came home from work, he hugged me. David's interrogation was today. Did you find out anything? He confessed. He admitted to abusing Sophie. And that he was targeting Lily at today's party. I sank into a chair. But it's over now. He'll never get out. How long is his sentence? The prosecution is seeking 15 years. Michael sat next to me and held my hand. I just protected my family. That's my job. As a police officer, as a father, and as a husband. I looked at my husband. For these 10 years, I hadn't really known him. But now, I clearly understood who he was. He was our protector. What happens now? To us. We continue our normal lives. Lily will get counseling. You too, if you need it. And Jessica. Michael took a deep breath. That's for you to decide. But for now, it's better to keep some distance. I nodded. I couldn't blame my sister. But Lily's safety was the top priority. That night, watching my daughter sleep, I made a vow. No matter what happens, I'll protect this child. My daughter's safety is more important than family honor, more important than appearances. Michael hugged me from behind. The three of us would continue living together. As a real family. 3 months passed. On a winter morning, I made coffee in the kitchen while gazing at the snow outside the window. Lily was getting ready for school, and I could hear her singing from upstairs. It was the first time I'd heard her sing since that day. Michael's cell phone rang. He answered, talked for a while, then looked at me with a serious expression. Sophie's counselor called. I held my breath. Sophie was also a victim. For over a year. I almost dropped my coffee cup. Michael caught it. Didn't Jessica know? She might have. But she didn't want to admit it. That afternoon, Jessica called. Her voice was broken. Emily, I'm the worst mother in the world. Jessica. Sophie told me everything. For over a year, that child endured it alone. She couldn't tell me. She thought I would protect David. My sister cried violently. I'm sorry. You were right. You and Michael saved my daughter too. I couldn't say anything. I just listened to my sister crying over the phone. 2 weeks later, David's sentence was handed down. 15 years. Michael attended the trial and reported back when he got home. David claimed until the very end that he did nothing wrong. What about Jessica? The divorce is finalized. She's moved back to her parents' house. I hadn't heard from Carol. But according to what I heard from Jessica, my mother-in-law was mentally struggling with caring for Sophie. Learning that everything she believed, that she couldn't see through the lies, that the perfect family was all an illusion, had shattered her. One day, a letter arrived. From Carol. I held the envelope but didn't open it. Michael said gently. You don't have to read it. Read it when you feel ready. I put the letter in a drawer. Spring came. In the living room, Lily was playing a board game with Michael. My daughter's laughter echoed throughout the house. She was still continuing counseling, but Lily was gradually regaining her brightness. Mommy, look. I beat Daddy. That's wonderful. Michael patted his daughter's head. You're really smart. Watching that scene, I thought, this is family. Not blood ties, but relationships where we protect each other. The determination to risk your life to protect the people you love. That's what real family is. Jessica and I began talking once a month by phone. She was receiving therapy with Sophie, trying to move forward little by little. We might never return to the close relationship we once had. But I thought that was okay. What matters is protecting each other's children. One weekend, Jessica said, Sophie wants to see Lily. I consulted with Michael, and we agreed to meet at the park. Under supervision, for just a short time. At the park, the two girls approached each other hesitantly, then hugged. They were both crying. Jessica and I also shed tears from a little distance away. Thank you, Jessica whispered. Because you ran away, we can be here now. On the way home, Lily said. Mommy, what is family? I looked at my daughter. Family means people who will risk their lives to protect each other. It's not about being related by blood. The people who truly care about each other, they're family. So Daddy and Mommy and Lily are family. That's right. Michael smiled from the driver's seat. We're the best family there is. When we got home, Lily started her homework right away. Michael and I prepared dinner in the kitchen. An ordinary, mundane weekend afternoon. But we knew how precious this ordinariness was. Outside the window, gentle spring sunshine was pouring down. A new season was beginning. Our new life was also quietly but surely moving forward. Real family isn't about blood ties. It's about relationships where you risk your lives to protect each other. And we had found that answer. Melissa